Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me here to be with you, presenting Forceris and specifically presenting what is the experience that we have done with Forceris during this last year. Okay. Today, my presentation is going to be focused on two blocks. We are going to make a review about what is the current situation of IDA, the iron deficiency anemia in piglets in Europe, and as well we are going to make a review about what is the current situation with coccidia in Europe, okay? And finally, I will give you some information about Forceris ongoing in Europe. So, going with my presentation, let me explain you what is the Forceris experience in Europe, and for this, I have to start with the survey that we have done for the iron deficiency anemia in different countries of Europe, okay? So, in this trial, just you to know, we have conducted a survey in 7 countries, 7 European countries. We took 10 randomly selected farms per country, and we tested 10 liters per farm, okay? What did we do? We use a specific device, is named MOQ, particular analyzer, which is able to measure the quantity of hemoglobin in blood. Basically, it gives us the quantity of grams of hemoglobin per deciliter of blood, okay? So based on this, I'm going to show you what are the results that we obtain, okay? Look. This is the global results of Europe and all the countries. And just for you to know, we have segmented 3 different levels or status of hemoglobin. The first one is the optimal status, which has more than 11 grams per deciliter of blood of hemoglobin. Then there is a second stage or status, which is named subanemic, which goes between 9 and 11 grams of hemoglobin per deciliter. And then there are pure anemic status. This means animals with very low levels of hemoglobin, which is below 9 grams of hemoglobin per deciliter of blood. So here you can see the results. We have separated the piglets in 3 groups depending on the size. So you have on the left small piglets, in the medium piglets, and on the right the big piglets. Okay, and as you can see, significantly we have a big percentage of animals which are either subanemic or pure anemic, which is one of the important things that we got when we made this this survey. It's important to mention that these animals, all of them, they were treated against iron. So even being treated against iron deficiency anemia, even being supported with an extra dose of iron, still we find animals that at weaning around 18 or 25 dose of age, still they are either subanemic or anemic, okay? Even if we make the analysis, look, we can see or we can differentiate animals if they are treated with iron dextran or if they are treated with gleptoferron. Even if they are treated orally, the incidence of anemia is different. You see here on the right in the graph, animals that were treated with iron dextran, still there was an incidence of 16.2% of animals having anemic situation. This means levels of hemoglobin below 9 grams per deciliter. On the contrary, for the animals that have been treated with gleptoferron molecule, the incidence was 10.2%, which is significantly lower than the iron dextran. And at the end, on the right, you can see animals treated orally. This means supplemented with oral iron. The incidence is quite significant. It goes more than 34% of the animals presented here. This means, or this can explain that depending on the molecule that we are using, we can expect a level or a different level of anemia. Comparing, as I said, if it's iron dextran or gleptoferron, or if it's even supplemented by oral way. Okay. At the same time, here, let me show you as well. We have an analysis of the incidence of anemia depending on the parity of the cells. Okay. So the first thing that we can say is that there was no statistical difference, but we saw a clear trend, okay, that represent that young sows and old sows are at risk to produce piglets with extra needs of iron, okay, so susceptible to be anemic. And as well, what we found is that the larger litters, with more piglets per liter, as well, these animals are susceptible to suffer anemia. You can see here on the right, okay, the percentage of anemic animals, and as you can see, all on the left or all sows, or young sows on the left or all sows on the right, they have more probability, more incidence of anemic piglets comparing with animals, with 2 or 5 parities, okay? So I think this is another important point that we can mention in this survey. And just to finalize, as a conclusion, what we see is that today in Europe, the IDA, the iron deficiency anemia in piglets, is a problem, even knowing that today all the piglets, or most of them, they are treated with iron. Okay, the second point is that here there are differences to take into consideration when we apply either injectable or oral route, okay? So considering the type of product that we are injecting, iron dextran or gleptoferron, and the way of administration, injectable or oral, we can see as well more or less incidence of anemic piglets. And finally, it's important to mention as well that piglets from low and high parity source, this means from a larger litter, might be a risk of this iron deficiency anemia, okay? So for this part, I'm going to pass to the coccidia, okay? In this case, in Europe as well, we ran out a survey, was in 4 countries, in Germany, Spain, Austria, and Czech Republic, and the objective of this survey was to detect the presence of the parasite in the pig farm, and as well, very important, evaluate the difference on the management of the farms with the incidence of this coccidiosis, okay? So for the survey, we took 49 farms from these 4 countries. In total, we got 1,206 samples, and out of these 1,206, close to 40% of them, they were positive against Cytospora suis, okay? In overall, 71.4% of the farms were positive, and 50.1% of the litters, they were positive as well against Cytospora suis, okay? If we go more in detail, you can see here the table. The positive farms, they were 70.1% of the positive farms. If we go per country, you can see Spain is the higher country with 83% of positive farms. Germany was very good, below 50% of the 50% of the farms, but still 43%. And then you can see Czech Republic as well, a high percentage of animal positive, and Austria as well, high percentage. If we see positive farms, we can see as well that in total 32%, they have more than 50% of the animals positive. More in detail, Spain was the higher with 66, and Czech Republic 77, and then surprisingly Austria 0%, or Germany 14%. So in average, positive litters, 50% in average were positive from out of all the litters that we took samples. And again, as you can see, Spain with the highest level, followed by Czech Republic, and then Germany and Austria, okay? At the same time, when we made the analysis, what we saw is that out of these 39.3 samples that were positive against Cytospora suis, there were different levels of oocyst excretion, okay? And this is very important because it's going to impact directly on the epidemiology of the disease in the farm, okay? So what we found is that 50% of the samples, they had a low grade of excretion of oocyst, and in comparison with the other 2 segments, which one, it was 11.8% with a medium grade excretion, and 12.5% of samples, they had a high level of excretion, okay, with the corresponding impact on the farm. As well, very, very interesting to mention, because it's a key element for us, and it's one of the successes for series in Europe, is that after this survey, we detect one key point. This key point is the early treatment, okay? For us, we consider early treatment is the key to treat and to control coccidiosis. As you can see here on the left, you see that early treatment, animals treated early, they had a prevalence of Cytospora suis of 44.4%. In comparison with animals that they were treated later, this means from 5 to 8 days after birth, the prevalence of the Cytospora suis in this case was 82.4%. Okay, so these results were compared, and what we found is that an early treatment significantly improved the benefits of using toltrazuril in field conditions. Okay, and this is one of the key points that we can obtain by using Forceris. So, as a conclusion, what we can say is that this Cytospora suis, it was a common enteropathogen in the farms. Okay, we have seen as well that today the control of the pathology is not well done. It can be better. It can be done better. We can improve it. Consider that more than 80% of the farms are treated with oral toltrazuril. Okay, and a crucial factor to control the coccidiosis can be first to have the correct dose. We need to dose with the correct milligrams of toltrazuril per animal, and as well the appropriate time of administration. Okay, what we say, an early treatment for us is key to prevent the coccidiosis. Finally, of course, we recommend to accompany with measures like disinfectant or proper environment, clean proper environment, to reduce the level of oocysts in the farm. Okay. Finally, the presence of diarrhea, of course, is not necessarily correlated with oocyst positivity. Just remember that diarrhea is a multi-cause problem that can be produced by different agents like Escherichia coli, Clostridium perfringens, or coccidiosis. Okay. So just to finalize my presentation, and based on these products, today, after 1 full year of the launch of Forceris in Europe, what we can tell you is that in France, the treatment rate reached to 42%. This means that 42% of the total born piglets in France today are treated with Forceris. In the same way, we can see Italy, where we reached last December the 38% of treatment rate in Italy. Again, 38% of the piglets today, total born piglets, are treated with Forceris. Or another example is Czech Republic, where as well we have a treatment rate of 30%. Okay, as you can see, the success of the product in the field, it's been very, very important. Today, Forceris is becoming a standard treatment in the soy production in Europe, and the control and the efficacy of these two pathologies has been improved by the product. Okay, so with this last slide, I finish my presentation. I want to thank you again the invitation, and of course, if you have any question or any comment, I will be happy to answer. Thank you very much.